Hello everyone. I am Dr. A. Revathi, Assistant Professor of English, Sri Sharada College for Women, Salem. Today, we are going to see some of the basic concepts in linguistics. Why linguistics is very important to study? Because it helps us to understand our world. It captures unique conceptualizations of the world and has its own ways of constructing words, phrases, and sentences for communicating ideas. If we compare the words and structures of various languages, we come to a greater understanding of the world we live in. Apart from simply understanding the intricacies of the world languages, the knowledge can be applied in improving communication between people. Without further delay, let's get started. Language and linguistics. Language and linguistics are the two different words that have to be used differently. A language is a mode of expression of the thought by means of articulating sounds, whereas linguistics is a branch of study that deals with language. It is almost a comparative study of languages. So, linguistics is the science of language, which includes sounds, words, and grammar tools. Language is one of the most important parts of any culture. It is the way by which people communicate with one another, build relationships, and create a sense of community. There are roughly 6,500 spoken languages in the world today, and each and every language is unique in a number of ways. Language and linguistics are like siblings, but they're not an identical twins. But occasionally they will wear each other's clothes just to mess around with people who aren't paying attention. On the whole, language is a form of communication between human beings, and typically it is the form of words and phrases like what we are familiar with. Whereas linguistics is a form of communication. It is not a language, but something like a subject of study like maths, physics, etc. What is linguistics? Linguistics is the scientific study of language. It focuses on the systematic investigation of the properties of particular language as well as the characteristics of language in general. It encompasses not only the sound, grammar, and meaning, but also the history of language families. For instance, how language are acquired by children and adults, and also about how language use is processed in the mind and how it is connected to race and gender. A language specialist is interested in the practical application of a particular language rules with the aim of producing grammatically correct texts that can be easily read and understood by the native speakers. Whereas a linguistics specialist is very interested in how these rules came to exist and the history of the language and its development and also the etymology or origin of certain words. For example, an English student will learn the meaning of the word television, which is used in our day-to-day conversation, whereas a linguist will learn its etymological terms because it has its roots both in Greek as well as in Latin. The word tele comes from the Greek word meaning far off, whereas vision comes from the Latin word which means something seen in the imagination. It sounds interesting, right? Who is called a linguist? A linguist is someone who studies language. Linguists study every aspect of language, including vocabulary, grammar, the sound of language, and how words evolve over time. So, the work of a linguist is to document, analyze, and preserve endangered language by conducting fieldwork and establishing literacy programs. The Sanskrit grammarian Panini is the earliest known linguist and is often acknowledged as the founder of linguistics. He is known for his text Ashtadhyayi, a sutra-style treatise on Sanskrit grammar. It consists of 3,996 verses or rules on linguistics, syntax, and semantics. His ideas influenced and attracted commentaries from scholars of other Indian religions such as Buddhism. Noam Chomsky is known as the father of modern linguistics. He is an American professor, public intellect, known for his works in linguistics. He introduced some notable theories like Chomsky hierarchy, generative grammar, and the concept of universal grammar. Ferdinand de Saussure is considered as the father of modern linguistics. Due to the sheer amount of work he produced on the subject, he is widely considered as one of the founders of 20th century linguistics and one of the major founders of semiotics or semiology. Semiotics is nothing but the study of sign or symbol. Ferdinand de Saussure was a Swiss linguist, semiotician, and philosopher. His ideas laid a foundation for many significant developments in both linguistics and semiotics during the 20th century. Dissertation on the primitive vowel system in Indo-European language and course in general linguistics are the most famous works written by Saussure. Linguistics in everyday life. Linguistics is a powerful discipline that unveils the complexities of language and its impact on our daily life. It is through linguistics that one can harness the true power of language and unlock its immense potential in one's personal and professional spheres. Language is an essential human ability, whether it's telling a joke, naming a baby, using voice recognition software, or whatever it may be. One can find the study of language reflected in almost everything we do. It acts as a tool for self expression, cultural appreciation, and intellectual growth, enriching one's life and fostering more connected and understanding global community. Therefore, language is the foundation of human civilization, a remarkable tool that enables us to express our thoughts, to share our knowledge, and also to connect with others on profound level. So types of linguistics. There are six types of linguistics: phonetics, phonology, morphology, syntax, semantics, and pragmatics. Phonetics. Phonetics is a branch of linguistics that studies how humans produce and perceive sounds. Linguists who specialize in studying the physical properties of speech are known as phoneticians. Phonetics are broadly classified into three types, that is articulatory phonetics, acoustic phonetics, and auditory phonetics. Articulatory phonetics is the study of how the vocal tracts produce sounds. So it is broadly classified into two types, that is passive articulators and active articulators. In passive articulators includes upper lip, teeth, alveolar ridge, hard palate, soft palate, glottis, and pharynx, whereas active articulator includes only tongue and lower lip. For example, the sound per, ber, mer said to be made at the lip because you have the upper and the lower lip together in order to make the sound. Next, acoustic phonetics is the study of the physical properties of sounds. That is, one can analyze the acoustic properties of speech sound through looking at the waveform. Auditory phonetics is the study of the way listeners perceive sounds. Phonology. Phonology is the study of the patterns of sounds in a language. It is the categorical organization of speech sound in language, about how speech sounds are organized in the mind and used to convey meaning. Phonology is broadly classified into two types, that is phoneme and allophones. Phoneme, it is the smallest unit of speech that distinguishing one word from another word. It is nothing but the study of phonemic system of a language. Whereas allophones, it talks about the phonetic variations, that is, difference, difference in pronunciation of the same phoneme. For example, the sound l is pronounced differently in the word love and in the word food. Morphology. It is the study of how parts of words called morphemes create meanings by combining with each other. For example, if you take the word cookie and add the suffix "-s", you create a new word called cookies, the plural form with a slightly different meaning than the singular form. Morphem is broadly classified into two types, that is free morphem and bound morphem. Free morphem is a morphem that can exist independently as an individual word. These are typically known as root or base word. For example, love, life, comfort, and etc. Bound morphem. Bound morphem is a morphem that cannot exist independently and must be used together with a base word. These are typically affixes, that is, we add prefix or suffix to the base word. Example, unable, undoing, preferable, etc. Syntax. It is the part of linguistics that studies the structure and formation of sentences. It explains how words and phrases are arranged to form correct sentences. Syntax is something we use every day. The way we arrange words in a sentence dictates how the sentence will be understood by others. There are four types of syntax: simple sentence, compound sentence, complex sentence, and compound complex sentence. Semantics. It is the study of the meaning of words and sentences. Semantics are often used in everyday social interaction to convey meaning beyond the literal meaning of spoken words. For example, if someone asks, "How are you?" the response may be, "I'm fine," even if the person is not really feeling fine. The conversation is guided by the semantic meaning of the words rather than their literal meaning. The terms are used as formalities, not as genuine questions expecting a genuine response. Pragmatics. It is the study on how language is used by people. It generally examines cases where a person's statement has one literal meaning and another unspoken or deeper meaning. For example, person 1 raises a question, "What do you want to eat?" Person 2 replies that ice cream is good this time. The second person did not explicitly say what they wanted to eat, but their statement implies that they want to eat ice cream. This sort of implication falls under the category of pragmatics. Another example of learning pragmatics would be learning figurative languages. For instance, "I ran for 1,000 miles." If you interpret the statement, it is an exaggeration rather than a literal claim. So we all know the branches of linguistics is broadly classified into seven types. First, applied linguistics, sociolinguistics, computational linguistics, psycholinguistics, comparative linguistics, historical linguistics, and the last one, stylistics. Applied linguistics. Applied linguistics is a branch of linguistics that is involved in the identification, investigation, and providing solutions for real life issues relating to language. Applied linguistic studies started during the early 20th century. At the time, scholars recognized the need to apply linguistic knowledge to address real world language related issues. It is an interdisciplinary field drawing knowledge from different academic fields like psychology, sociology, and anthropology, technology, and applied linguistics. Let's see how technology and applied linguistics go hand in hand. First one, computer assisted language learning, that is called CALL. It utilizes digital tools, software applications, and online platforms to support language instruction and enhances learners' language skills. The next one is language analysis and digital tools. It is a software programs and computational technique which empowers the applied linguist to identify patterns, study language variation, and explore linguistic features across different contexts and population. Sociolinguistics. Sociolinguistics is the branch of linguistics that deals with the effect of society or social factors of language. It is involved in the study of the effects and interactions between language and different social factors like ethnicity, social class, gender, and cultural norms. Sociolinguistic approaches language with the idea that all kinds of speech are equally correct and valuable, even though some are stigmatized. There are several kinds of variations that exist in social linguistic study. Variation by social class, variation by region, variation by gender, variation by racial group, and variation by relationships. Computational linguistics. The computational linguistics is an interdisciplinary branch of linguistics which is concerned with the study and perception of spoken as well as the written language from a computational perspective. It combines the concepts from computer science, programming, and coding with linguistics to determine how language functions in the context of computing and operating systems. Applications that includes in computational linguistics are machine translation, application clustering, chatbots, and text mining. Machine translation. This is the process of using AI to translate one human language to another. The second one, application clustering. This is the process of turning multiple computer servers into a cluster. Chatbots. This software stimulates human conversation through text or voice interaction. The last one, text mining. It is the process of extracting useful information from massive amounts of unstructured textual data. Psycholinguistics. Psycholinguistics deals with the psychological aspects of language. This is one of the branches of linguistics that is involved in the study of the different psychological factors that control the process of acquiring, understanding, and the use of language by human beings. It can be divided into four main areas. They are language acquisition. It is nothing but how children learn their first language. The second one, language comprehension, how we process and understand language. The third, language production, how we physically produce speech. The last one, second, language acquisition, how we learn other language and how differs from learning a first language. Comparative linguistics. Comparative linguistics is one of the sought after branches of linguistics that is involved in the study of identifying similar and dissimilar properties between different language of a common origin. It studies the development of languages through a comparative analysis two or more different languages that evolved from a single parent language. The comparative method generally make use of a large list of words with the same definitions in the languages being compared. Words that are likely to have native terms in each language are preferable to prevent the confusion that could result from borrowed terms. Historical linguistics. One of the most important branches of linguistics is historical linguistics. It studies the evolution and changes in languages through periods of time. It analyzes how and in what ways language changes over time and also involves the reconstruction of the past forms of languages. The historical linguistics definition has grown to encompass both synchronic and diachronic analysis. This analysis was first applied by a Swiss linguist, Ferdinand de Saussure. Historical linguistics is broadly classified into two types, that is synchronic approach and diachronic approach. Synchronic approach is nothing but the study of language at a particular period of time. For example, comparing dialect of English spoken by the contemporary speaker is called synchronic approach. Diachronic approach. It deals with the changes over time. For example, comparing modern English to Middle English and Old English is called diachronic approach. How to learn a new language fast. Of course, everyone are interested to learn new language, but we do not know how to learn the language in a fastest way. Here are the few tips that will help you to learn new language in a fastest way. You can watch shows and listen to podcasts and also can read lot of books and must learn basic phrases and also must focus on 100 most common vocabulary words which are used in that particular language. And then after learning vocabularies, you have to work on pronunciation because you must sound more like native speaker, and you can even connect with the native speaker. If you know someone talking that particular language, you can go and talk to them in order to increase your communication skill. You can even download a dictionary app that will help you to enrich your vocabulary skill. And you have to study that particular language each and every day. Coming to the conclusion of this video, linguistics emphasizes the importance of preserving linguistic diversity, recognizing that every language is a unique reflection of culture and heritage. By valuing and preserving endangered languages, we celebrate the richness and depth of human expression. I would like to conclude this video with a Chinese proverb. To learn a language is to have one more window from which to look at the world. Learning is like a treasure and it will follow its owner everywhere. I hope this video helped you to acquire knowledge related to the basic concepts of linguistics. Thank you all.